Hip hip hooray. Well, happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday too.
Well, it's great to have you on and welcome. And so if you're not, I'm not sure how familiar you are with me. I'm the founder of the Sil Review, in which I take books for entrepreneurship, mindset, break them down. And
Yep.
especially I like taking books that focus on the mindset that's required for entrepreneurship because you need a different mindset, different way of thinking, everything.
Yep.
So it's absolutely great to have you on
I'm
for
great to be here.
awesome. Well, bonjour, better said, I guess. You speak French as
Bon,
well, right?
bonjour. Yes, my
Bonjour.
first language is French.
Nice. I'm currently learning French, so je parle un peu de
Okay.
français.
Cool.
Uh,
Awesome.
yeah. So, all right. So, to my Sil Review audience, Jules is a marketer. He's an entrepreneur, a consultant, and he's an Amazon best-selling author from Canada. At the age of 21, his book, The Marketing Blueprint, became a bestseller. And I think that's how I saw your book. I was adding different books to my books wish list, and they're like, "Oh, you should read this as well." So,
Okay.
yeah.
So it was you learned from my book and from me from Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Definitely.
Awesome.
And I remember, I put it in my wish list. And then a few weeks later, my brother, who's into marketing, goes, "Hey, have you heard of this guy named Jules Marcoux from Canada?" And I was like, that name sounds familiar. He goes, "Yeah, he wrote a book. You should read it." And so then I looked on my wish list. I'm like, well, it's in my wish list. All right, I'm going to get it.
Yeah, and Amazon probably sent you like 25 emails because they're so uh they 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 know what to do with marketing. So that's why I like to send traffic to Amazon because I let them do the marketing thereafter. So it's cool.
Yeah, definitely. They want the sales as well, so they take care of that.
Exactly.
That works. All right. So let's go ahead and dive into your book then. I
Yep.
really enjoyed reading the About Me section because I think it's one thing to hear, people's advice on, for example, for you, marketing, but it's
Yep.
really nice to get to know where they're coming from. And totally random, you taught yourself to play violin at the age of 5?
Yep. I
That
took I took some course also at the same time, but always being an autodidact. So yeah,
do you still play? The reason I asked is I actually grew up
I
playing the
don't.
violin as well. No? Okay.
I don't. I do not anymore. I played like 8 years, then I stopped, and I never really started back. But it was a great experience, and it's really great because violin is a really great instrument to learn when you're young. Because thereafter, every instrument is really easier to learn once you
Mhm.
know violin. But yeah, it was a great experience. But I don't play anymore.
Nice. Me either. I played violin when I was younger too, and then eventually stopped. But I agree because then
When did you stop?
I stopped when, oh gosh, probably about 10 years ago.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, but I can still pick it up and play by ear. Reading notes is a bit harder
Yeah.
now, but by ear, it's fun. It's a nice little creative outlet every
Yeah.
now and then. But all right, so then can we talk about a little bit your move to Michigan
Yeah.
when you were just 15? What was going through your mind when you did that?
Well, we all have like teenager dreams. So I wanted to play in the NBA, and I said to myself like, "There's no NBA players from Quebec, from Canada." So I said I have to go to United States. So I just started emailing schools and emailing people and just asking them if they could let me play for them and everything. So one school replied. A coach from a team replied to me and said, "Come over. We'll see if you're any good." And we'll see if that works. And he said, "Cool, you can play for us." So someone's proposed himself to a really cool lady proposed herself to host me and to to do a place for me to live for the next 3 or 4 months. I've been there, and then I played a bit there, and then I went back to Quebec.
Nice. So now looking back at that experience, how do you feel that experience prepared you for entrepreneurship?
I think it was great because it's like diving in the world and just seeing what happens. And I didn't really know what would happen by going there, but I think it was just a really great experience. Scary at the same time because I was not speaking English at all, maybe a little bit. So I learned it by Google Translate and just go there and just talk with people and everything. And then I got fluent and more fluent. And when I came back to Quebec, I kept trying to improve my English. And so it was really a great experience, both on the language side, but also on the just to become like really more independent and just to know how to dive into things you don't really know what will happen, but you just have to do it and see what happens.
Yeah, I like that. So when I read that part and then I read you had a quote about overcoming fears, your quote goes, when I want to act, I simply hold my breath and dive out of my
Yeah,
comfort zone. It
yeah,
reminded me of that.
yeah, exactly. And it trains the hustler mindset, like to just say, okay, I need to do it and let's see what happens. But because I think too much people just don't do things because they can't see what the outcome of it. But
Hmm.
if you just have to say, okay, I'll try it, and then we'll see what will be the outcome, and just say, let's do it.
Yeah, I like it. And just for the people who are going to be watching, I just want to read this quote because I really like this quote.
Cool. Yeah.
When I want to act, I simply hold my breath and dive out of my comfort zone. I sometimes come back with treasure. I sometimes come out with a worn out old boot. But each time it becomes easier to hold my breath and dive back in. I
Yeah.
like that.
Thank you.
Yes, good job.
And as much, I think that's something that people love from the book, and is that as much as for people that wants to see it,
Yes, thank
um,
you.
as much as it is a marketing book, I try to put some pages in between chapters that are more just sharing my thoughts and sharing what maybe a little bit more motivation and all those things. But it's mostly a marketing book, but some pages are more deep in emotions.
Yes, but I like that because once again, even as a marketer, mindset's so important. So important
Yeah,
to recognize your own mindset and then understand mindsets of other people so that you can reach them better through marketing as well.
exactly. Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to be empathic.
Yes. Yes. Agreed. Definitely. All right. And then before we dive into the marketing, one more question.
Yeah,
How
sure.
were your parents? Um, how did you handle the conversation with your parents when you dropped out of school? Because I know a lot of my followers, they're in that early stage once again where they're trying to figure out, do I go to school? Do I not? What do I do? Especially if I'm called to be, I know I want to be an
Yeah.
entrepreneur.
Yeah, we didn't really have this conversation. I mean, it's sure that I know they would have more love that I go to, but we didn't really have a conversation. But things just happened like that, and it led me to not go to school. But um, I think the choice needs to be done intelligently. Think about it, not just say, oh, school is not for entrepreneurship, you can't learn entrepreneurship at school, but you can learn other things. It's just in my case, I didn't love to go, I wasn't able to go, like I just couldn't do it. So that's what happened. But I don't think, if you're asking yourself the question, sometimes the best answer is to go to school. like
Hmm.
like sometime you're asking the question because you're still considering to go. If you can't really go, well, it's your choice, but it's not easier both way.
Yeah. It's what you make out of it.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly, both ways are.
Yes, both ways work.
Yeah,
So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and dive into the book. And boom, I have the Kindle version of it,
awesome. Yeah,
which is
digital life.
Digital Life. Although I do, like, as a reader, I prefer the tactile. I love having the actual hardcover book, but the Kindle is very convenient.
Yeah, and you can hold like 1,000 books, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So, one very
Yeah.
small condensed space. I love that. All right, so I really like the book. Last week, I went through, was breaking down certain points with my Still Review followers, and there were two that points in particular that I felt resonated very well with my audience, and I wanted to bring that up in the interview. The first one,
Cool.
the power of the phone, which I think is so important. So many people are so hesitant
Yep.
to put themselves out there, just call or email or
Yep.
text. Um, what are your thoughts on that from the book, I guess?
Yeah, sure. um Well, I have some clients that grew like large businesses just from calling clients and calling potential customers. So I think sometimes we kind of like complicate marketing uh, by doing too much content, too much everything like that. I mean, content and social media is huge for some types of business, but sometimes just the best marketing is just to call and talk about your product and try to sell it. So this chapter was more about like getting back to the basics, and maybe because uh I'm a 20 years old guy, so I know social media. Like I'm born with it, and like I'm born with the internet, so it's easier for me to get into um, trying to only focus on social media and internet and all those things, and like scaling ads and everything. But this chapter was maybe more trying to go back to basics and show myself and my readers that you can just call people and like go back to when before a marketplace was actually a place. So yeah, that's pretty much just what the chapter is about.
Yes, I like it. And I think one of the big reasons why I liked it too is because it also a bit ties to the whole storytelling concept because people buy from people they know, like, and trust.
Yeah,
And what better way to create that connection than them hearing your voice or, seeing you face to face.
yeah.
Yeah. It's not,
Exactly. And sometimes, I mean, in the book, when I say calling potential customers, I'm not saying like, hey, this is my product. Can you buy it? You want to buy it? It's like trying to build a relationship and trying to just get in touch with people and say, hey, yeah, I got this for you, or you might be interested in this. And let's see how it can work. Not really just pick up the phone, na,
yeah.
na, 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 trying to build relationships and all those things. And it's just, it takes more time than when you scale it, but it's powerful at the same time.
Agreed.
It's not
Agreed.
one of the other. It's both at the same time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They work very well together. Awesome. Then another point that resonated very strongly with my followers was that great marketers do not look only for customers, they look for fans. Could you
Yeah.
expand on that?
Yeah. And it's funny that we talk about this one because I just posted on my Instagram this morning a quote that says, make a customer, not a sale. And like, you have to make a friend, you have to make a fan, you have to make a relationship more than just making a quick buck. And that's why I've never been a fan of like sending cold traffic to landing pages or just sell, like trying to sell, because you have to entertain people, you have to get in touch with people, you have to create relationships. And I think this don't goes with just trying to sell something. So and if you look at the biggest brand in the world, like Apple, Tesla right now, and all those brands, like people are just fans of those companies. Like they go at the product launches like in big rooms, and like people are clapping hands and just cheering up and everything. So it's really about like making those customers fans and not just trying to sell them something.
Yeah, yeah. And well, funny thing you mentioned Tesla, and the thought just
Yeah,
occurred to me, the whole the word of mouth, the coolness factor. Talk
yeah,
about coolness factor for Tesla. They're like, we don't even have dealerships, you have to, like, we're that exclusive. That is
yeah. And they're cutting the middleman, which is really really genius. And
mm-hmm.
like I think we're more and more going in an era that middlemans are going to be cut, and I think that's a great way. Like you don't right now, you don't have to go like, I published this book myself. I didn't even have to go to a publishing house. You don't have to find a record label or a record deal to publish your music. You don't have, you can do what you want to do right now. So that's something really interesting, and you can cultivate fans before like we said, not make a customer, just more a fan. um I think we're going in an era where you can build your fan base really really easily.
Yeah. Well, and especially with live streaming coming up too. I mean,
Yeah,
it's free advertising for yourself, basically.
yeah,
It's just a matter of people recognizing that opportunity and taking advantage of it.
yeah,
So
exactly.
definitely, definitely now. So what was the number one mindset shift that you felt was the most, like, beneficial for you once you decided to become an entrepreneur, once you became an entrepreneur?
um I would say trying to not, like I said in the beginning of the interview, not trying to always know the outcome of things, because when we try to see the outcome of things, we can't know, we just won't do it, and it don't work, it doesn't work like that. So let's take, you have a new thing you want to try it and see if it works. And marketing is all about trying and see if it works, and if it works, just keep doing it and scale it. But I think the biggest mindset that really helped me is just to start doing things, because I think waiting for the perfect moment, or like, I mean, I didn't work like 20 years in marketing. I didn't sell a business like $100 million to Apple or something like that. And I'm really honest about it in my book and in my everything that I publish. But I think it's important to be honest. But what I mean by that is that one big mindset is just never wait. That when I decided to not wait for the perfect moment and just do things and just see what happens and see what will be the outcome, and just try it and see if it works, then it works. And if it doesn't, I'll just go back to what I was doing
Yeah.
and try something else later. So I think that's the biggest mind shift that pushed me to start doing something.
Stop procrastinating, just start doing. I
Yeah,
like it.
exactly. And not wait for the perfect moment. Like, you won't be, you're never too young, you're never too old. You just have to do it.
Yeah. I like that. Action gets you out of doubt. This is my
Exactly.
quote. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. Um, and then another quote that I really liked, once again, very mindset related, and I think I recognize some Paulo Coelho in there, was your quote about focusing on the present,
Hmm.
that you're able to prepare for the future because you focus on the present. Can you dive into that a little bit?
Yeah. And there's something I read. I don't remember from who it was, but it was saying something like, you have to have a vision for the long term, but to work in the present. So
Hmm.
sometimes we don't do things because we say, oh, what will happen in the future? It's okay to ask ourselves this question, but it's just about like doing things right now. Sometimes we do like big to-do list of what we have to do and all those things, but we never really do them, to be honest. So it's all about just working and doing things and trying things and just living in the moment, but thinking about where we want to go in the long term. But this have to be in our head more than in paper or everything like
Yeah, I like that.
that.
Yes. Well, I think the reason why I especially like that is because coming from me, I'm one of those like doers, but I plan where I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
here's the long-term goal. So what are, the steps that we need to take? And I think a lot of people get so caught up in doing the plan that they're start stressing out. They're focusing on the future, and then they don't realize, well, the only thing that can shape my future is the present. What am I doing now to do it?
yeah. And it's putting curtains around our vision and like not being able to see the big picture. And sometimes when we plan something, is based on what we know now. Like, we plan now
Yeah.
for the future, but on what we know now and on our current situation, on current environment, or on current goals, or anything. So when we do, let's say, a marketing plan right now in 2015, we do it like for 5 years. But like, who knew 5 years ago that Snapchat will be necessarily in your
Yeah.
marketing strategy right now? So it's great to have a vision of where we want to go, like a mission, a purpose, some goals, but really to do like step by step by step, I'm not a big fan of that. Well, it might be at full for some people, but I mean, you have to keep yourself open to what will happen.
Yes. Agreed. Agreed. Love it. Awesome. And um, so then one thing you had mentioned, the importance of overcoming fears, of just doing. Is there anything in particular that you think is helpful to overcome fears, or is it just go do?
Go do.
Love
Yeah,
it.
I could do a long answer for that, but at the end of the day, like, there's so much content online trying to tell you how to go around your fears and what to do. But at the end of the day, it's all BS, in my opinion. I think it's all about just doing.
Yeah, I like it.
Go do.
Just go do. That's true. You go do, you're going to learn, and you never know where that leads.
Yeah, and maybe one tips will be to take small steps,
Hmm.
because sometimes we see the task too big than it is actually is. So maybe to take small steps and baby steps, and it is going to be easier. Like, when you learn to walk, you don't go and sprint a marathon. You just start by doing one step, you fall, you do 2 steps, you fall a bit, but you don't fall too much. So maybe do small steps, and you keep falling a bit, but you keep going forward.
Yeah, those small steps, you start building a momentum, and
Yeah,
Go
baby
forward with that.
steps.
Baby steps. Love it. Love, love, love it. All right. Jules, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks to you. It was great.
It was great. So once again, you guys can find his book on Amazon. It is the Marketing Blueprint. There you go. You
Yep.
hard copy, Kindle. It's available on Amazon. You guys can also find him at julesmarcoux.com.
Yep.
He's also on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, wherever it is, and he's very accessible, you guys.
Everywhere.
So hit him up, follow him up, and thank you so much for being on the Silverview.
Thank you. It was really great, and have a great day.
You too. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.